What's up, YouTube? It's your friendly neighborhood GM, your host, Coach Key, and welcome to Legends and Dice Cafe, where we learn about tabletop RPGs from old school to modern and do lots and lots of solo gameplay. Back with my weekly video like I do on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today's video was Patreon's choice. Half of them picked one thing for me to do this Friday, and the other half picked something else. So I had to be the deciding factor between the two of them, and this is what we all came up with together. A quick look into the 2024 Dungeon Master Guide, and I'm gonna put this book down because they're pretty heavy books, and I don't want to have to catch one and hold one. Give me one sec. Whew. And a quick look at the 2024 Player's Handbook. As always, don't forget to make sure you hit that thumbs up button so YouTube will push it out to more and more people. Okay, and if you'd like to further support the channel beyond what you already do, hop on over to Patreon and subscribe to Legends and Dice Cafe. And I'm trying so hard to find the right place to put this cotton picking, to put this microphone. I move a lot. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I move my hands and I move my body when I talk. Because the last video that I dropped with my spouse, with Tori, I didn't hear any of that feedback with her when she was talking. So, and we had our mics in the same place. So I'm still working on that. So definitely apologies if there is feedback periodically throughout my videos. I'm still trying to find the right spot to hold the mic. I used to hold it in my hand, but I like my hands free so I can, as you can see, move them around. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Whew, heavy books. So let's just hold them together. Without further ado, let's get into it. Full disclosure, the Patreons picked, one of them, well, half of them picked the Dungeon Master Guide review. And I thought because the Dungeon Master review is probably going to be pretty fast. Like I said, it's going to just be a quick look inside of both of them. I thought it'd be really cool then go ahead and just add in the Player's Handbook, a quick look into the Player's Handbook as well. So again, I personally enjoy the artwork in this bad boy. I like the way that it's organized. Chapter 1, exactly what it is. Playing the game, it has your rules. I like the way they're neatly organized in here. They've got examples for social interaction, exploration examples, combat and damage examples. And that's pretty much the gist of your chapter 1. It's not even a lot of pages either. And that's pages 7 through 32, your rules to the game. And then it goes into character creation. I personally enjoy this character creation. I like the character sheet. This is my character that I created, Gentine. It is a warlock, human, and my background's hermit. And the subclass I picked was Fiend Patreon. I thought was pretty cool. We're starting at a level 5. I play in adventure games. I just got back into playing in them. And my goal is to do at least 1 to twice a month, play as a player and just kick back. But they do have quite an incentive to be a DM, has me reconsidering it. Creating the character, I even like the character sheet. I've got my section right here for my class features, my species traits, my feats. You've got your equipment, and you've got your equipment and proficiencies down here. And over here, you've got your cantrips and prepared spells as well. And your information if you are casting spells. I like it. The equipment is right here, your coins. I like the way I like the layout, to be perfectly honest. And character creation is super simple. They even have it listed right here. How to create your character. You choose your class, and then you're going to choose your origin. And at your origin, it consists of 2 elements, which is your background and your species. Then you tally up your ability scores, however you're going to do it. Choose your alignment and just fill in the blanks from there, is what they say. They've got a nice little section right here, choose your class, and they put their likes, their primary ability, and the complexity, and of course your character sheet. So because again, I do play in person, which I absolutely love, and not only that, it's a fantastic community. So of course I got these physical character sheets. I could print them, but I wanted to buy these right here. They weren't too expensive, and I'm not exactly sure how many come in it, but you do get them on both sides, which is super cool as well. Because, why not? I enjoy D&D. I enjoy tabletop role-playing games, period. It's been a fantastic journey so far, and I still have so much more to learn. So I like this part right here, the ability scores and the backgrounds, which is helped me out with creating my character. Now, even though I am DMing, I haven't played all of the characters, all the PCs. So there are a lot of things that I'm not familiar with. So things like this are honestly very helpful for me. Okay. I also really like the standard array by class, letting you know. And again, this was very helpful with me building my warlock. But again, of course, you can do it as you see fit. But I thought this was a great base, a great foundation to start with to distribute my ability scores and maximize my character's abilities and skills. So I love these little sections. This section right here, super helpful. Your level 1 hit points by class, and then for your other levels, fixed hit points by class as you're gaining your level, which was super cool. So honestly, that's the gist of chapter 2, character creation. Your character classes and their subclasses right under, with a little bit of explanation about them. I like the way that the classes are laid out as well. So I'm going to go straight to the warlock. This is how it's laid out. It has your core warlock, your core traits right here in this nice little box. And you start off here becoming a warlock, and it lets you know step by step what to actually do, which again is not unusual. Not unusual, but I like the way again everything is nice and laid out. And to me, it seems like a little bit clear. Another thing I like about this, it has the cantrips and the spells. Like for instance, in the warlock, in the same section, it has your cantrips and your spells, which is super cool and very convenient. Then of course it goes into your subclasses. And that's the gist. And then chapter 4 is your origins. Remember, your origins is going to be your background and your species. Your species, your races now are your species. Okay? So I like the way that this is laid out too. And I watched a few videos and I saw, other people's perspectives on the things that they liked about this. And I had listened to a few people complain that it was not enough fluff. Honestly, personally, I like that they've kind of cut it down. They've kind of cut it down a little bit. I can definitely appreciate it because I don't need all that information because I'm going to fill in the gaps where I see fit. So just a nice foundation of what this particular thing, for instance, is background, what it is, and what I get from it is honestly all that I need. But that's me personally. And the same with the species as well. Not a lot of information, like not as much as I saw in the players in the 2014, which again I like because you've got your pictures here so you get a good idea of what you're kind of working with, or the idea of, or a good visual of the type of species that you picked out, and you're going to go from there and just create the rest of everything else. Chapter 5 are your feats, a collection of feats which are special features not tied to your character class. So now you get feats automatically. You get feats at level 1. Your background gives you feats, and at certain levels, your class gives you the ability score, improvement feature, or feat, or the choice of another feat for which you qualify. And this is just your list and your information and exactly what they actually do. Then you got your equipment. What stood out to me in equipment was the guns. Okay, I thought it was pretty cool. Look how much they are: 500 gold pieces, 250 gold pieces. I thought that was pretty cool. I love the pictures in here of the weapons, and then you've got pictures of your armor, and then of course you've got your section for your spells. There's also something else inside of this book that I thought was super cool, is the rules glossary. Okay, this is fantastic. Honestly, as I was building my character and I had to keep kind of flip back and forth, it made things pretty easy. The way that it's laid out made it pretty easy, or fairly easy, for me to find things, which was super cool. So, and on top of that, you have this rules glossary. Here are the definitions of the various rules. I like that. I like that a lot. It's super convenient, easy to look up, alphabetical order. I like this. Dungeon Master Guide. Now, honestly, I think this is pretty cool. I like the information inside of it. Let's open it up. Again, this is just going to be a quick look into the Dungeon Master Guide. So you got your chapter 1, your basics. I like the way that it explained what a Dungeon Master does. A lot of this stuff I already know, but there are some things that I was able to highlight that I can actually try to implement into my games, which I thought was pretty cool. So it gives you things that you need to know, things you need, useful additions. I like this part right here, preparing for a session, and I took a few notes from this section right here. Preparing for a session, it lets you know preparing if you have 1 hour preparation, 2 hour preparation, or 3 hour preparation. I think it's really cool how to run a session. I like the information about mutual respect and respect for the DM. It gives you some pointers on dealing with different types of behavior as well, which I thought was really cool. So again, I think this is a cool book for someone who is new to D&D and new dungeon master, which again is definitely not needed. To even be a dungeon master, you don't need this book. But I do think that it does have some really cool helpful information, and it's neatly laid out for someone. And also for someone like me who's been game mastering for a year, this has still been, honestly, it's still got some really good information for me that I can definitely appreciate. In chapter 2 is running your game. You got your rules. This was new, multiple DMs or joint DMs, which I've heard of, but I like that it was listed in here because I noticed that other people, it was an unusual concept for other people that I ran into. So I like that. There are a lot of pros to that. I thought this section was cool right here, improvising damage. I mean, again, I haven't read through the 2014. I've been definitely reading more through this and taking my time with reading through this. And I like it. It seems, for me personally, it's a lot easier to digest if I was going to read either one of those. This is a lot easier to digest. Now, the 2014 does have some fantastic things in there. That's one of the main things I go in there for, are the magic items and some of the tables. And this is one of the things that I try to incorporate into my games is actions and exploration as far as taking turns. Now, instead of waiting sometimes for people to just, when I'm asking them, what are their players, what is everyone doing? Instead, I'll go and ask each individual because I normally have their names on little cards. Boom. I normally keep their names on little cards. This is my Dragonbane crew right here, which I'm absolutely loving. I love Dragonbane more after running it. I think it's super cool, and a lot easier to run, honestly, than D&D. I go through those cards. I use them for initiative order, and I also use them for exploration as well. So I make sure I call on each individual character and asking them what it is that they're doing or what it is that they would like to do. But I do like that this is in here because everybody doesn't know this. Learning by observing. One of the best ways to learn how to run a D&D game is to observe other DMs in action. And I would absolutely agree with that. A lot of the things that I do, like for instance, having people's names on the cards so that way I don't miss anybody in initiative order, and making sure that I'm calling on individuals in any type of role playing situation. I'm calling on each individual character and asking them so that way everyone's playing a part. And that helps out for people who are a little bit more timid, at least what I've learned. But I learned those things from being in other people's games. So I've had the pleasure to be around some honestly great dungeon master, game masters. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. So I like that that's in here as far as taking turns, because everyone's not going to automatically think to do that. And it does have these tracker sheets at the back of different sections to help you out. I'm not exactly sure which ones are most useful for me yet. I haven't really paid them too much mind. I am going through, because at the moment, I'm just kind of reading through all the information, which I'm actually enjoying it too. I think the artwork on here is super cool as well. Chapter 3 is going to be your DM's toolbox. So chapters 1 and 2 teach the essentials of being a dungeon master. This chapter provides advice on topics that can surface as you prepare or run a D&D session, as well as rules for adventure elements ranging from chase and doors to traps. It also includes guidance on creating new backgrounds, creatures, magic items, and spells to amuse your players. And that section, honestly, I thought was pretty cool. I'm currently reading through that section on creating new backgrounds, creatures, and magical items to add into my own world, Astra 2. So, like I said, I like this book so far. I like the information that it has. Again, it's not necessary at all to be a dungeon master or a game master at all. But it is an awesome addition. And again, it's got some great information in there. Now, as far as someone who's been doing this for years and years and years, I can't speak from that perspective, but me personally, I really like this Dungeon Master Guide. I like this part right here, death scenes. So one way to keep players involved in the game, so when a character is reduced to 0 hit points, the player sometimes has to sit out one or more rounds of combat with nothing to do but roll death saving throws. One way to keep a player involved in the game is to prompt some role playing along with each death save. You might ask the player you might ask the player to describe a memory that surfaces in the character's mind while hovering near death. Consider these possibilities. For example, a memory that inspires hope and courage, a beloved person who would urge the character to cling to life, a thought of something to live for, a favorite childhood memory. I thought was really interesting, and honestly, I never thought about that. So I'm gonna definitely start incorporating this into my games because I think that's a really cool. That's a really cool way to get to make sure that everybody stays involved. And of course, firearms and explosives. I like that section, and I think it's interesting. And another thing, siege equipment, I thought was pretty cool as well. And stat blocks. Siege equipment includes objects designed to assail castles and other walled fortifications. Most siege weapons require creatures to move them as well as to load, aim, and fire them. Again, this is just a quick look, a quick glance, creating adventures. I like this right here. I'm probably going to use this right here. The map symbols, the common map symbols. It does also have a bunch of tables for different hooks for your players. I like this section right here as well. Combat encounter difficulty. Using the following guidelines to create a combat encounter of a desired level of difficulty. So you've got low difficulty, moderate difficulty, and high difficulty. And they have an example. Here's a table right here, your HP budget per character. So how it works is a low difficult encounter for 4 level 1 characters has an XP budget of 50. So it's going to be 50 in, it's 50 times 4. So for a total of 200 XP. So with that, you can build any of the following encounters. So a bugbear warrior, which is 200 XP, giant wasp, twig blights. I like that. I like that a lot. And of course, it has a bunch of other cool random tables that we'll probably get into at a later date. And I like this section right here as well, adventure examples. This section contains example adventures that demonstrate the principles described throughout the chapter. Each provides enough information for you to run one session adventure with the help of the maps in Appendix B and the monster stat blocks in the monster manual. Each adventure in this section includes the following information. You got the title, your character level, the situation, the hook, and encounters. I like that. This is how I honestly lay out and plan. This is how I've been learning to lay out and plan my games. So I kept it mine simple. I like that. It's got a bunch of different adventures, super awesome starter adventures that you can put together and start to create a campaign with. And I think this is fantastic. I love the idea of this inside of here. And honestly, I'll probably end up pulling from this as well. Because I wanted to start running some more one shots. So having these is a nice baseline, something simple, not a lot of information. Because I have some one shots and a bunch of different Game Masters books that I have. But it's a lot of information for the one shots. But these right here, you can just pick it up and it's just a basic skeleton like everything else is. But this is super simple where you're kind of forced to be creative, which is fantastic to me. Then, of course, your section for creating campaigns. And I kind of like this idea right here is a campaign journal. Again, I haven't really looked at all of the trackers, but I was looking at this one and I thought this one would be pretty cool. I would probably need a little bit more space than that. And on top of that, this has a session zero. I picked up the session zero idea from other people, but when I looked at Tasha's Cauldron, that helped me to kind of create a list. I love this in here. Another section that I appreciate in here is the Greyhawk setting. This is super cool. Again, like I said, I'm not familiar with a lot of D&D lore, a lot of D&D settings. So having this information in here, because I am still interested, because I do play it. So having this information in here, I think was super cool. I love that they did this. And it comes with a super map. I'm glad I looked at this section because it also comes with a really nice map that I think I'm gonna get framed and maybe put on a wall because it looks like it will look good on a wall. I'm gonna open that up in a little bit. But yeah, it's got your Greyhawk setting. I haven't read through this section yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Greyhawk is a D&D setting you can use as the backdrop for your campaign or a model you can reference while creating your own setting. Important aspects of Greyhawk are described herein so that you can make it your own, expanding or altering it however you wish. Now, I like that. Again, for somebody like me, I really like the idea. I love the skeleton and just kind of throwing my own information in there, mixing and mingling. I like that they have this in here. And it goes from page 143 to 170. And that's quite a bit of information. I'm sure there's probably a lot more information it's missing, but for somebody, again, for a key, this is cool. Cosmology, Chapter 6. And of course, you've got your treasure. I like this right here, and I think I first saw a section like this in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is another book that I enjoy and I use. And so magic items awarded by level. So I like that 1 to 4 tier 1. You've got your common, how many common items, and so on and so on. And that was very helpful for me. Magic item tracker. I think I might utilize this. So treasures are pretty, got a nice amount to work with. Another thing that I really like about this book is bastions. I think that's how you say it. My first time actually learning about this, that these are in the games, was when I ran Dragon Heist. And in Dragon Heist, the characters were awarded a place to call their own that they could decorate and run as a business, which I thought was super cool. And they enjoyed it as well. They actually took time out to decorate, which was I thought was super cool. You get Bastion at a level 5 if, of course, you're a game master. That's something that they're going to do. So a bastion is a location that belongs to a player character, which I thought was cool, that it belongs to just that individual. A home, a stronghold, and a place of power that the character develops over the course of a campaign. A bastion offers a character temporary refuge from the dangerous world of adventuring, and it provides opportunities for characters to craft items, conduct research, harvest potions, build ships, and carry out a range of other activities. This is really cool. Bastion turns. As time passes in the campaign, players take bastion turns to reflect the activity occurring in their bastion, whether or not the characters are present. On a bastion turn, a character can issue orders to the special features in their bastion or issue the maintain order to the entire bastion. It's got some more information about that, but I love the idea. I love that you can upgrade it, add different facilities to your bastion, how they benefit you. So this is definitely, and it does encourage you to build a map for your bastion. So I'm going to actually use some of these ideas for my solo adventure. Here are some of the special facilities. So you can get an armory, a barrack, a garden, library, a sanctuary, smithy, storehouse, workshop, gaming hall. So these are pretty cool. I like these ideas. It has these special facility descriptions, which is super cool. This is another section that I was excited about, and I'm looking forward to reading through the lore glossary. Again, for someone who is not familiar with D&D lore, I haven't played any other edition besides 5th edition. I don't really know a lot of the lore, a lot of the names that I'm seeing and the names that I hear. This appendix provides brief descriptions for many of the D&D game's most famous heroes, villains, creatures, locations, and materials. So, I like this, and I'm actually looking forward to reading through this. Another thing the Dungeon Master Guide in 2014 was really good for was the maps in the back. And these maps, again, you can utilize in the adventures that are inside of the book or into your own campaign. Use it for, inspiration. But I think these are super cool. I love the black and white. I love these maps. I love a good map, period, though. Whether I created it or someone else, these are honestly awesome. And I like this ship right here. I wanted to do a space adventure and some type of pirate underwater adventure as well. That is my quick look inside of the 2014 Dungeon Master Guide and the 2024 Player's Handbook. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to make sure you hit that thumbs up button, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of the cool content that I post on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you like video games, catch me on Twitch under Coach Key. And on Thursdays, at least for now, Thursdays, I am teaching my spouse how to play Overcooked. I'm kind of learning along the way as well. But if you want a little bit of entertainment on your Thursday nights, if you want to come and chat with us on Thursday night, then definitely check us out on Twitch. And I also stream on Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, all starting about 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're free, definitely come on and hang out. Hope you have a fantastic weekend and play some really cool games, read something really cool. watch something really cool, hang out with some good people, or just enjoy your own company, which I absolutely do enjoy my own company, which is one of the reasons why I enjoy playing solo games. And I'll see you guys next week, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And